The rain came down in sheets, blurring the windshield of Jack Harper's old pickup as he sped through the quiet streets of Boise, Idaho. His 7-year-old daughter, Lily, sat beside him, clutching her stuffed rabbit, her face pale and pinched with pain. Her fever had spiked an hour ago, her small body trembling despite the blanket tucked around her. Jack's knuckles whitened on the steering wheel, his heart pounding with a father's fear. The hospital was 10 minutes away, but every second felt like an eternity. "Hold on, kiddo," he murmured, glancing at Lily. Her eyes, usually bright with mischief, were half closed, her breaths shallow. "We're almost there." The emergency room doors slid open with a whoosh, and Jack carried Lily inside, her weight feather-light but heavy with worry. The waiting area was a blur of tired faces and antiseptic smells. A nurse took one look at Lily and ushered them to a triage room where monitors beeped and a doctor with kind eyes began asking questions. Jack answered mechanically, yes, the fever started yesterday. No cough. Yes, she'd been lethargic. His world narrowed to Lily, to the way her hand gripped his finger, to the hope that she'd be okay. Hours passed in a haze of tests and waiting. Lily was admitted for observation, suspected of having a severe infection. Jack sat by her bed, stroking her hair as she drifted into a medicated sleep. The doctor assured him she'd stabilize with antibiotics, but Jack couldn't shake the knot in his chest. He needed air, just for a moment. Kissing Lily's forehead, he stepped into the hall, promising to be back before she woke. The hospital cafeteria was nearly empty, its fluorescent lights casting a sterile glow over plastic. Trays and vending machines. Jack grabbed a coffee, its bitterness grounding him, and sank into a chair by the window. Rain still fell outside, streaking the glass like tears. He was staring into the black of his cup when a familiar voice cut through the quiet. "Jack?" He froze. That voice, soft, hesitant, but unmistakable, pulled him back 8 years. He turned, and there she was, Sarah Coleman standing by the counter, her hands resting on a rounded belly. Pregnant. The sight hit him like a punch, memories flooding back, late-night talks, shared dreams, the fight that ended it all. They'd been 22, reckless and in love, until Sarah wanted to chase a career in Seattle, and Jack, tied to his family's struggling farm, couldn't follow. They'd parted with harsh words, neither looking back. "Sarah," he said, standing, his voice rough. Her brown eyes, still sharp and searching, met his. She looked tired, her auburn hair pulled into a messy bun, her coat too thin for the chill outside. "I didn't expect," she started, then gestured to her belly, a nervous smile flickering. "I was just grabbing tea. Long night." Jack's mind raced. "You're here alone?" He glanced at her hand. No ring, no partner in sight. The math was unavoidable. 8 years since they'd last spoken, but the way she shifted, the way her eyes darted away, told him something impossible. "Sarah," he said, stepping closer, voice low. "Is it mine?" Her silence was answer enough. She bit her lip, then nodded. "I found out a few months ago. I didn't know how to tell you. I thought, after everything, you wouldn't want to know." Jack's world tilted. A second child. His child. The weight of it pressed against the worry already consuming him. Lily, sick in a hospital bed. Sarah, alone and pregnant. His life, already stretched thin, now splitting at the seams. He wanted to be angry, to demand why she'd kept it from him, but the fear in her eyes stopped him. She wasn't here for a reunion. Something was wrong. "Why are you at the hospital?" he asked, softer now. Her hands tightened around her cup. "I've been having pains. They're monitoring me. Preterm labor, maybe. They're not sure yet." The words landed like stones. Jack's instinct was to retreat, to focus on Lily, to protect the fragile world he'd built for his daughter after her mother, his late wife, Emily, died 3 years ago. But Sarah stood there, vulnerable in a way he'd never seen, and he couldn't walk away. "Come sit," he said, pulling out a chair. "Tell me what's going on." She hesitated, then sat, her story spilling out in fragments. She'd moved. Back to Boise 6 months ago, her Seattle dreams soured by a cutthroat job and a string of bad choices. The pregnancy was unplanned, discovered late, and she'd been too proud, or too scared, to reach out. Now, facing the possibility of early delivery, she was alone, her family distant, her savings drained. Jack listened, his coffee growing cold. Part of him wanted to fix this, to make sense of the chaos. Another part screamed to get back to Lily, but as Sarah spoke, her voice cracking, he saw the girl he'd once loved, now a woman carrying his child, and something deeper stirred. A resolve to do what was right, no matter how hard. "I'll help," he said finally. "Whatever you need. For you, for the baby." Sarah's eyes widened. "Jack, you don't have to." "I want to," he cut in. "But I need to tell you something too." He explained about Lily, the fever, the hospital stay. Sarah's face softened, and she reached out, touching his arm. "I'm so sorry," she said. "Is she going to be okay?" "They think so," he said, voice thick. "But it's been a long night." They sat in silence, two people bound by a past and an uncertain future. Jack's phone buzzed, a text from the nurse. Lily was awake, asking for him. He stood, then paused. "Sarah, where are you staying tonight?" She shrugged, embarrassed. "A motel nearby. I'll manage." He shook his head. "No, come with me. We'll figure this out together." Back at Lily's room, Jack introduced Sarah as an old friend. Lily, groggy but curious, smiled at Sarah's belly. "Is there a baby in there?" she asked, her voice weak but bright. Sarah laughed, a sound that eased the tension. "Yeah, there is." Jack watched them, his heart swelling. Over the next few days, as Lily's fever broke and her strength returned, Jack split his time between her bedside and Sarah's, who was stabilized but still at risk. He brought Sarah clothes from his sister's closet, made sure she ate, and listened when she needed to talk. Friends and neighbors rallied too, dropping off meals for Jack and Lily, offering to sit with Sarah during her tests. The community's kindness, small acts stacking up, reminded Jack of the goodness people could show when it mattered most. One night, as Lily slept and Sarah rested in her own hospital room, Jack sat in the chapel, the quiet wrapping around him. He wasn't religious, but he needed to think. He'd lost Emily, nearly lost Lily, and now faced a future with a second child he hadn't known existed. It was overwhelming, yet he felt a strange clarity. He'd choose kindness, over resentment, over fear. For Lily, for Sarah, for the baby, yet to come. Weeks later, Lily was home, her laughter filling the house again. Sarah, cleared to leave the hospital, stayed in Jack's guest room while they navigated what came next. It wasn't love, not like before, but a partnership built on something stronger. Trust, care, and the shared weight of responsibility. When Sarah's son was born, healthy with Jack's blue eyes, Lily declared herself the best big sister ever. Jack held the baby, named Noah, and felt his heart expand, making room for one more. The rain had stopped, and Boise's skies were clear. Jack stood on his porch, watching Lily chase fireflies, Sarah beside him, Noah asleep in her arms. Life wasn't perfect. It never would be. But in that moment, it was enough. They'd found a way forward, not just for themselves, but for each other, proving that even in the mess of life, humanity's best could shine through.